the suppression of the use of marijuana and of the forces lurking behind it are the most important jobs this department is now engaged in. In 1930, the records on marijuana in the Washington office of the Narcotics Division scarcely filled a small folder like this. Today, they fill cabinets.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Coloradians, and everyone that's smart enough to listen from the outside.
One of the most amazing plants we've ever discovered.
The pot party, the trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
I got weed pots!
Y'all hear that? That background noise is because we're back on location. As always, welcome back to Stoned Appetit. I am your host, Kip Wilson. That background music you hear is from a fun little dive bar that has 9 holes of mini putt called Rhino Country Club, 38th and Brighton. Also the home of Dalton's Denver, which if you don't know has great smash burgers. They celebrate everything that the Philly Trash does. They have mini hot dogs, veggie burgers, and chicken wings as well. It's a great location you definitely need to check out. It's a perfect location for spring and summertime, but it's a great location for this episode as well. Obviously it's 420. We want to wish everyone a happy holidays. We've got a doozy of an episode for you today. We're sitting down with a friend of ours who is he's been a vendor at our events, but he's also just a kick-ass human, and we're going to talk a little bit about his cannabis company and their products. But before we dive into all of that, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Yeah, it may be loud, but it's not as loud as the bowl that we've packed here for this episode. We're talking about our friends over at Ritual Colorado. You heard us say on Tuesday, you heard us say last week, but Ritual Colorado, they're celebrating their 1-year anniversary of being an entity in themselves, which started as a digital pipe shop. You know, bongs, rigs, dry flower, vapes, anything you may need for concentrates, from samurai sword looking knives to fucking, Puffcos, Sherlocks and everything under the sun. They've got it for you. You can head over to their website. It's www.ritual-co.com, or check them out on social media. It's ritual_Colorado. From now well until the end of the month, they are celebrating their anniversary with 15 to 20% off goddamn near the whole fucking store. They will be opening their first storefront here in Colorado in the coming weeks, but for now you can still celebrate by taking advantage of these great deals you can find at ritual-co.com. And that's the sponsor of the day. And obviously, as y'all know, we're chugging on cocktails, and the best cocktail you can fucking have is one that is mixed with Breckenridge distilled booze. They've got bourbon, they've got your whiskeys, they've got your rums, your gins, your vodkas. Fuck, they even got your bitters. Like I've told you many times before, there's something for everyone, and it's made right here in our backyard. Think Four Noses, but local. That's right, Breckenridge distilled products. Award-winning whiskeys. They're up for Best Craft Whiskey according to USA Today, as well as Best Tasting Room, which you can find along their Main Street drag in Breckenridge, Colorado. It's a kick-ass product, a kick-ass company. We love working with them. Just as you know, we like to support local across the board. It starts with the cocktails we have at happy hour and gets that episode bubbling. So let's get the party started. Today we're sitting down with Binske. We'll call him the head of sales, VP of sales, director of sales. There's a term for it, but what I like to call him is a friend. And that's Mr. Michael Kriz from Binske Cannabis. Mikey, how are you, Kriz?
Hey, Kip, how we doing?
Uh-oh. Sorry, then now do it again. Say hey again.
Hey, Kip.
There we go. Perfect. I had your volume.
How we doing?
We're doing well. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so for those that don't know, Binske is a company that you can definitely find here in Colorado, but you're starting to be able to find it across the country. They have a reliable product line from concentrates to pre-rolls to edibles to they have something for everyone. Cartridges. So we're talking about it. Obviously, it's a holidaze, so we wanted to talk about one of our favorite products in the community. One you've seen at our weed dinners and our parties before. It's a brand that we recommend, and we don't slap the Stoned Appetite label on much besides Hop Alley and your products. So thank you so much, Kriz, for joining us, and thanks for always being there to support us in our corner.
Of course, and right back at you, Kev.
Yeah, well, okay, so we start every episode the same way, Mikey. It's a basic question. Are you a transplant or a native to Colorado?
It's a hard answer for me. I've lived here majority of my life now. I am technically a transplant. Deep roots in Colorado, going back into Crested Butte, Colorado. I am originally
from Crested Butte?
Yes. So that is where the family heritage starts. But I was actually born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia.
Well, that's not too bad. You get that Waffle House, but you also know how to ski. That's
Exactly.
not a bad combo.
Exactly.
Fuck yeah. So wait, explain that dynamic. You have the Atlanta style. I know you went to school at Georgia. Fuck you, go eat shit. As a sports fan, I can say that.
Go Dogs.
Yeah, fuck you. But at the same time, yeah, you do have this family that's very tied to the Colorado community, whether it be, going to school, family members going to school out here, whether it be your dad, your grandfather, things of that nature. But you do have this intersect of that pipeline of the Southeast that wanted to get the fuck out. It was a generation before you.
It definitely was. Having the family from here, skiing is a huge part of my family, from grandfather all the way down to grandkids. So, getting majority of the family back out to Colorado was definitely a mission of my father's. Obviously I followed in the footsteps. I am grateful for the roots of my southern family, but this day and age, there's no better place to be than Denver, Colorado.
Okay, so this may be a leading question because I know the answer. So while the family wanted to get you back, it wasn't for the same reasons we all wanted. Like everybody else in the South, we were like, fuck, get us out of here. Your family, y'all kind of been entrenched in the community, so it was like, I want to develop or envelop the family in the Colorado communities. Is that the best way to describe it?
Yeah, 100%. Just kind of speaking for my pops here, I definitely do think he wanted to raise his family in Colorado. His job took him down to the South. That is originally where both my parents are from. But once the opportunity came knocking, my dad was out first flight. So I'm grateful to be here.
Great. God damn, Kip. Grateful minds think alike, but also great minds think alike. So, but you've kind of enveloped the passion of Colorado. You've been entrenched in the community, in the cannabis and food industry as well. You have a refined palate for both things, but you have kind of a long journey to getting to where you are at Binske. I mean, from working with what is highly reclaimed grassroots, grassland shouts Ricardo. Grassroots, the cannabis friendly, hat and t-shirt, I guess branding and, company. How did you kind of find your way into it? Was it moving to Colorado, or did you have that niche or that want before you got here?
So actually I was lucky. I was already actually living here, completing high school into my early college days. A new up-and-coming clothing brand.
Wait, where did you graduate high school?
2000.
Where? Here in Colorado?
Yeah, East High School.
Oh shit, get out. East, right there off yours.
Shout out, right up the street. So honestly, coming out of high school, fresh into college, grassroots was just starting to become a thing. I remember going to my first music festivals, seeing the hats, clothing, the whole 9 yards, and just knew I wanted to be a part of it. 11 years.
So you've kind of had that entrepreneurial spirit early on?
100%.
Because I was just a slap dick when I was in high school. I was like, we sold T-shirts for high school parties we threw, but like, you had this like spirit, like, hey, I want to be entrenched in this community early in your livelihood.
Totally. I've always been one to disrupt a market, if you will. Whether it be an actual market or not. I do heavily believe that disrupting something will create greatness at the end. When we were first getting going in grassroots, we weren't necessarily a quote-unquote real business. It was just a bunch of friends that were hanging out, getting high, and selling hats. Like, let's be real here. And then, 10, 11 years later, it is a real business where, you are competing with the rest of the clothing industry. From that
is pretty wild, though. Like like Mitchell and Ness is your competitor,
100%.
Which is now owned by Fanatics and Michael Rubin, which everybody heard on Pardon My Take this week. But at the same time, that's a great problem to have. Be like, oh yeah, we make dank ass fucking lids and gear.
Totally.
It reminds me of my friends at Colorado Limited.
100%, and I'm actually glad you brought that up, Kip. So, one of the main leading reasons why we created a cannabis-friendly clothing company is during our first design of our first hat, it was basically a replica or a spin-off of the California state flag. So you got your brown bear and the red star up on the left-hand side. We replaced that red star with a red pot leaf. We went to the largest manufacturer of hats is a company called New Era.
We all know New Era.
Exactly.
I mean,
you're a typical Atlanta Braves
listeners,
hat.
Yeah, well, not Atlanta Braves. Fuck the Braves. But like anybody that frequented a mall, everybody remembers lids. I
exactly.
mean, yeah, New Era.
Exactly. So we actually went to them with that first design, and they denied us simply because it referenced marijuana and cannabis. So from ever receiving that last email saying, "Hey, we'll never make this design for you guys," we knew that there was a niche of catering to the cannabis market. So we went after that like crazy. That was also during the time of the legalization of cannabis in Colorado, California. And at that time, there were not, federally funded banks that were accepting all of this cannabis cash that was legally sold. So we found a loophole in that system, and we're taking that hard-earned cash, turning it into merchandise sales, and that was actually federally legal. So that is really how Grassroots got the start into the cannabis industry, is simply because we could turn their cash into profits that they were actually legally able to obtain.
I'm pretty sure they call that something. It's
we're playing with words here. We're playing with words.
We are, and I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my accountants over at Seed Money Consulting. They have a CFO in a box deal. So if you're looking to navigate the pitfalls of turning cash into gold or whatever the fuck you may be doing, that is a great way to do it. But I like where that mentality is. It's a grinding mentality. And so,
sure.
Well, you came out there looking for the best interest in your company as well as providing a quality product for the community. And it seems like nothing has skipped a beat, because if we fast forward, fuck, you're my age or a little bit younger, 8-10 years, now you are, a part and a figurehead of a great company that is not just in Colorado, but it's expanding across the globe. But y'all are movers and shakers across the front lines in the cannabis scene at Binske.
100%. So, like Kip said, fast forward, 10, 11 years, I was actually asked to come and start heading sales and operations for Colorado for the company Binske. Binske, if you guys are not aware of, we are a multi-state operator, operating in roughly, like right now, 9 different states across the United States. Actually signing international deals with our genetics into Colombia as well as Israel. So those are super exciting ventures that we are starting just now to break foot on.
Is that with David the Dick? I wasn't sure who you were working with, so I just made a joke. I was just making a joke. No, you're groovy. Well, so international is a wonderful concept because it's starting to get to that. And while it's still not federally even legal here in the States, we're celebrating today across the state of Colorado. There's great deals, not only on y'all's products, but in every dispensary, because it is preposterous that it's state by state, and y'all are in 9, which speaks volumes to how great your product is. Is it easy navigating that? Like you mentioned international, obviously that's a fucking bitch doing the genetics, but is it even a bitch doing it on a state-to-state level? How does that work?
Oh, 100%, man. It's the easiest way I like to put it is, we basically have 9 sub-companies that are operating all under the name Binske. Each state has its own rules and regulations, as well as, going as far as, packaging. A THC logo in the state of Colorado is completely different than the THC logo in Michigan or California. These things aren't a problem in any other regulated market like tobacco or alcohol. It definitely doesn't make sense that we have to have different packaging state by state. If we could operate, and I'm not saying we have to operate just like alcohol or just like tobacco, but they're not forced with the laws that we have in the cannabis space.
Do you think that is because we haven't found a way for the government to monetize it? Like, that's the reason we haven't seen the legalization, progress past, caucuses and, just floating things on the floor of the House or the Senate? Or do you think that is just a byproduct of the product itself? Because, obviously it's different for Pfizer as to Pfizer, but what's actually different is you may transmit or, transfer the genetics to another location, but who's to say that it's grown the same way? Whereas all of the Budweiser comes from fucking, shitty-ass Missouri, which, by the way, has done numbers in fucking weed. But at the same time, wherever, if you get a Budweiser here, it tastes like a Budweiser in New York. Juxtaposed, we see, especially with Burner or Cookies, which is they're picking local folks to produce their Gary Paytons, or things like that.
Yes.
But it doesn't yield the same results because not necessarily the same standards or the altitude. There are those mitigating factors. Is that a reason we're seeing stonewalling or those extra hurdles you'll have to clear? Or is it just the government being a cunt?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both, to be completely honest with you.
I painted that as a gorgeous picture.
You really did.
Thank you.
So if we didn't have the interstate regulations of how we can transport the product, etc., not even just the final product, even the biomass, the simple seed or the cut of a matured plant. I think, kind of going back to your analogy of the alcohol industry, all of that biomass to make that final product of the Budweiser beer is all 100% legal. You can transport that across state lines. You can issue SOP to facility to facility to facility. That's not the case in cannabis. You're very in the strain of your state limit.
Yeah, I didn't think about that because you're right. It's not like the hops are fucking grown in Kansas City or St. Louis or
exactly.
And I didn't think about that. So there are those mitigating factors, but you are right. It's the government kind of handcuffs you. You have to play by your state and local legislation. So if your state's only doing social equity license, may you rest in peace, dialed in 500s, that's part of the game. Whereas if they were in somewhere like a Michigan where it's an open market still for licensing and things, it would be a different ballgame. But you are right. And I guess standard operating procedures, like you mentioned earlier, would be in that same camp. But is there a large difference? Like you mentioned, you're in 9 states. Do y'all have a differential standard operating procedure for every state? And is it that big of a difference?
It really is. Your SOP is SOP. The way that we as a company, and there's different avenues that you can take into expanding into other states. Our biggest and the one that we focused on the most was straight up licensing deals. We're finding operating partners in these states that are already operational, have the grows, have the processing facilities,
And you're just giving the dankness.
and we're handing in the recipes for success. So when you're playing in that realm, you're also there's a lot of different factors that go into that. Are they growing the cannabis plant the exact same way that we are here in Colorado? It's always hit or miss. I would say we do our due diligence very, very highly and set standards for the partners that we are choosing. Some of our partners are some of the largest MSOs and cannabis brands publicly traded in the nation. But at the end of the day, when you are relying on another company to produce the product and have the same standards that you as that physical company have, it's very, very hard.
Okay, so that is a great point you bring up, and who you partner with, because we reference what Burner does, and I haven't heard anybody with a worse reputation in the cannabis industry. But what y'all have actually gone and done is done your due diligence into just who's doing the best legal grow here. Y'all went and found some of the best concentrate, makers, I guess, stirrers, and y'all have brought on some fucking heavy hitters. Especially, it's a perfect time to announce it as it goes on sale for the listeners today. Small batch companies, y'all are doing that righteous work of paying out the person that, it's like if Walmart bought Stoned Appetit tomorrow, fuck yeah, I am in. You want to hire those small batch to do those micro, what they do is so great. And y'all are starting to do that. Y'all are like, oh, these people are a niche. They're small, but by God, they bring the fucking hammer. And y'all just procured or brought in Oni. I mean, oh my God.
Exactly.
What a fucking cool. What a great product to have under your umbrella.
I do appreciate that.
No, I think any craft smoker, grower, anybody that presses at home is going to appreciate y'all are not doing the live well route or the burner route of just, let's just blanket shit. Y'all let's find people that are masters of their craft and bring them into the fold. So kudos to you. How the fuck did you get that?
Yes, so going back to the whole, just making the licensing deals. What holds its value, especially when talking about intellectual property, is how much of that intellectual property do you physically own and can you control? So, in cannabis, it gets very, very tricky. Everything is based off genetics, recipes, flavors, the whole 9 yards. So, kind of referencing the whole cookies, IP there, their intellectual property is off of the genetics that they have created and owned. Gary Payton, your Georgia Peach, the whole 9 yards. So we wanted to take that a little step further and target the actual creators of these genetics, which comes from Oni. Oni has been around for 25 plus years, creating, phenotyping, literally the whole 9 yards of creating a strain / genetic of a cannabis plant.
I mean, that is what you should do, because as we see, and I think it was the dude that owns Honeybee Collective, Chris Becker, who once said, I go to these events and I see more suits than I do hoodies. And it seems like what y'all are doing is creating a like-minded club of growers, producers, folks that know the pulse of the industry, but also aren't the venture capitalists or, we can make a buck this way. You're like, how do we elevate the experience, the product, and the money will come, which is what we've tried to do here at Stoner Appetit and have failed miserably.
No,
money is not
I
there.
couldn't agree more. I pitch transparency more than anything. Going on 5 years fully hands-on in the cannabis industry, The one thing that I have learned is it is a ton of smoke and mirrors. I want to be as transparent to our end consumer as physically possible. I'll even, if I have somebody hit me up on Instagram asking for a COA, looking for test results, whatever it may be, I am more than happy to send that to them. And then to take that even further, like I said, having the breeder cuts going into our grow that then feed into our final product is what this cannabis industry is about. You can look at some of these larger players in the industry and, you're talking to the head growers of these places and they have no idea where these genetics came from. That's not right. You get on MJ Biz Daily, you get on Forbes, whatever it may be.
Shout out to MJ Biz Daily. If
100%.
If they want me to be a guest speaker this year at MJ BizCon, for fuck's sake, I will do it. I love y'all dearly. If you're listening to this, social media director, reach out to me. I will do it. I will come. I will fly down there, eat dumplings at China Mama, and I will speak at MJ Biz.
Shout out to Lois and Siam.
It's so oh, dude, those fucking prawns. Whoever talks about reckless noodle in the same conversation deserves,
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Lotus Siam, you want to eat the shell of the prawn.
You sure do.
Oh my God, that
you want to eat the plate afterwards
and
as
don't
well.
Shuang's artisanal noodle just on the first cut of the Chinese Chinatown, whatever you want to call it. Oh my God. I mean, I love Vegas. I don't give a fuck about the tables. The weed is okay. That Chinatown is, I just want to eat Chinese food in Vegas and Din Tai Fung and Pound Sand.
Yes.
Send my ass to China fucking Mama.
And then catch me on the lazy river.
Oh man, I'll float that slut. I love it. No, but you're exactly right. What you mentioned in regards to speaking with and speaking for the private, community and those that are, want to know the transparency, but also looping in with the best of the best. Because if you want to be in that same category, that's exactly how you do it. It's not, proprietorship or taking over the helm of somebody else's business. Let them be geniuses and then let us bring that and intertwine that into our business plan and into our product SKUs. And y'all have done that very well. So congratulations, because that's an unbelievable partnership, whatever we want to, collaboration, whatever. Unbelievable concentrates.
Thank you.
Fucking great.
Thank you. No, we're super excited. And then, just to mention, we are actually the first state to be launching Oni on the recreational side of this business in the state of Colorado, actually tomorrow on 420.
Today on 420. You forget that this drops at like midnight. So it's the people that are listening are, shout out to our morning commuters. Starting next week, we will have the interviewees joining us on the podcast so y'all can get to know the soon-to-be producers. No, but you are exactly right. And, I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about our backyard. So for those that are like, fuck, you have great concentrate. I mentioned you have chocolates, edibles, pre-rolls, cartridges. Let's talk about where we can find them and what, tickles your pickle. What is your means of catching a fade? So give us the rundown.
Well,
where
so
can we find
first,
Ben?
just to kind of close it out on the whole Oni thing. Oni is a super small batch concentrate company here in the state of Colorado. You can find us launching all around the Denver metro area, as well as Boulder, Fort Collins, Durango, as well as Pueblo down at Canna Cabinet.
If you're in Pueblo, go to Coors Gray's Tavern and grab a slopper. It's a green chili cheeseburger. It's fucking great.
Who doesn't love those? But then other than that, we do have deals going on all around the state. One that I do want to shout out, Medicine Man up in Thornton. Any Binske or Oni product that is purchased gets a free lunch from the food truck that's going to be stationed out front. So definitely stop by and grab yourself some Binske or Oni product, and you'll get a free plate of food on us.
Hey, shout out. Look at that. Munchies paired with dankness. And
It doesn't get better than that.
That's exactly what you want to do. And if you're listening to this early in the morning, we will be posted up at Standing Akimbo, who will be doing Moon Raccoon pop-ups. First 50 people that get there get free gear from Standing Akimbo, which pretty much opens the door to dollar penny prizes is what we call them on social media. So
Exactly.
you need us for Standing Akimbo. But I love that. Okay, so you have it. You're across the metro, Front Range, and in the mountains, Pueblo as well. I'm not exactly sure what we call that, but Front Range.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can literally find us in 540 different stores across Colorado.
And that's Binske. If you're on Weed Maps to see where you can try one of these products, if somebody wanted to find the new Oni drops, where can we get that?
So we're going to be launching in very select amount of stores.
Okay.
Starting up in Boulder, you got Eclipse. Down here in Denver, you got Greenfields over off Mississippi, Denrec Larimer. You got the Center. Going down south, you got Canna Cabinet in Pueblo. Thornton, you have Medicine Man. Prohibition in Durango, Colorado for all you college kids. And then you got Verts up in Fort Collins.
Okay, so you may not know this, but it's pretty much Denver-centric.
Yes.
Obviously so. So if y'all heard that correctly, you can find them everywhere. And if you're going down to the Mile High 420 Festival tomorrow, Denrec on Larimer, right next to Marco's Pizzeria, is the closest place you'll be able to grab a Binske product. And then you can get over there to Rick Ross, all the dank foods, go see a lot of our friends down there as well. That's where you're going to be able to load up. And I tell you what, I fucking love the pre-rolls. They're easy. They burn smoothly. But the edibles... And then the fucking, disposable cartridges or disposable pens. Literally, my photographer this morning was asking about them. So there's something for everyone on that product line.
Just going to the golfers that we are, it is a full grip and rip type of product.
It is.
And then also, if you guys are popping into Denrec, if you mention this podcast, they'll give you 10% off. So wink, wink there.
Oh. So we have a loaded 420. You kind of gave us a great representation and explanation of where you came from and a lot about Binske. Before we go, we want to ask you a couple questions. These questions are called the Breckenridge Distilled Questions of the Week.
All right, hit me.
We've been stewing on these just like they've been stewing on great whiskey, and you can find those across the Front Range and in the mountains. Look to support your local whiskey brands. They're top 10 USA Today finalists for a reason. Check them out. Quick question. How do you feel the state of cannabis is in Colorado?
It's... I really do think it's an open-ended question. I deep inside me, I do...
Down in your plums.
I do think that the state of cannabis in this state is where it needs to be. I do think previous years, even going back 10 years, like your numbers, if you want to reference it in terms of revenue for the state of Colorado, it of course it's going to go down. You have more states coming online, which is driving down the tourism for cannabis in the state of Colorado. Do I think that cannabis is gone in the state of Colorado? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We got new brands coming out. You got more and more people coming to Colorado, sponsoring weed events, the whole 9 yards. I mean, just look at Stoned Appetit. You have people, brands themselves that have emerged from this industry. So do I think it's gone? Hell no, man. We're still selling pot like we did 10 years ago, and we're going to keep on doing that. Yes, there are the bigger players that, with your publicly traded companies that might have exited the state of Colorado, California, the whole 9 yards.
Curaleaf can pound sand. They just got denied at the fucking board over there in Jersey. I can say that, even if you can't.
I get why some MSOs are leaving the states, or I shouldn't say the states, just Colorado and California in general, you know, they're money grabbers. I want to stick with our end consumer that has been with us for the 9 years that we've been operating. Those are the people that matter, and I'm never going to leave them. So, you know, whereas other people are firing people, I'm sitting here hiring people. You know, I want to continue to grow this company the way that I know it can and be that Nike of cannabis.
I fucking love where your mindset is. And you do. You wake up hungry, whether it's for fucking tacos, burritos, sandwiches, or to make the next sale. I'm proud of you, and I enjoy being your friend and goofing off with you.
I do
but
too, Kev.
Thanks for taking the time to chat with us today, talk about the state of cannabis here in Colorado and across the country. Happy 420 to all of our listeners at home. We're not done yet. Oh, no, 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 no. In the words of Dikembe Mutombo, we got 2 left. The next one is called The Last Supper, Kriz. We ask all of our guests this question.
All right.
Dead or alive, you get 3 people to join you at your Last Supper. They cannot be friends or family. Who are you having join you for your last night on Earth?
All right, Kip. You know, this is a huge question for me.
It's a staple in the Stoned Appetite
What are
catalog.
we eating?
It's up to you, my friend.
Okay. So I'm just picking the menu plus the guest list. You know, I think as I'm staring at his mugshot right now, I think number 1 has to be Mr. Tiger Woods.
Man, wouldn't that be fucking awesome? The guy's a coxman.
The second...
Terrible father and parent, but great golfer and coxman.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, who would not want to eat a fried chicken sandwich with Tiger Woods?
Dude, oh my God. Fuck yes. I don't think I love anything more than I love Popeye's fried chicken. I like my girlfriend. I like my dog. I love Popeyes. And if I could have it with Tiger Woods, 6 to midnight. No offense, Mario and Jared. Huh.
I think number 2, RIP would have to be Basquiat. Going to the inner art kid in me. His art has always triggered my inner soul, and I would love to share dinner with him.
Oh, that's a good one, and that's the first time we've heard Basquiat. So, I mean,
keeping it original out here.
There you go. I mean, as someone who loves Tiger Woods, I don't feel like I could speak deeply enough about Basquiat. So, I like that answer, and it's going to cause a lot of us to Google to judge you based off of that.
And then, you know, my third, just going into the inner culinary side of me, would probably be David Chang. You know, I was actually just telling Kip this story. Momofuku. I was just telling Kip the story. I was actually just privileged enough to attend the Masters golf tournament down in Augusta, Georgia, where I actually, in fact, ran into David Chang just walking across the 16th green. You know, I was a little embarrassed of, you know, what I said to him. Very caught me off guard.
What'd you say? Holy fuck, I love your news!
It was very similar to that.
Sorry.
You know, I called him out. I was very shocked it was him.
David Chang!
And again, you know, we're walking across the green, so you don't have that much time, and literally just turned around and bowed and said thank you.
You bowed?
I did bow.
Oh, that's so embarrassing. Is that... did he give you a nod or anything?
Oh yeah, he was definitely fired up. He was definitely fired up on it. You know, I couldn't even say thank you for the nudes or anything. I just said straight up thank you.
Thanks.
And you know that shows my appreciation for his creations into this world.
Look, you have to keep your like your inner child is yelling to be Disney Worlded. You know, but you have to, keep it, confined when you're there. I took my shoes off, and they're like, sir, you got to put your shoes back on.
Oh, yeah, you can't do that.
And I was like, I'm so sorry. And he was like, we get it. Everybody wants. It's nothing is out of place. It's Disney World for rich white adults.
Yeah.
Because even if I won the lottery, I'm still $500 in the pocket just to get the tickets. And then you get out and you can only eat chain food. It's chain food as far as the eye can see.
Yes.
It's the greatest place I have ever been I mean, you can't be poor and go to Disney World or Disneyland these days. And you could probably get in and out of the Masters for cheaper than you could Disney World because the food and the beverages and all of that are
100%.
1/100th of the cost.
I mean, you couldn't be more spot on. I think I went in and bought 4 sandwiches one day and 2 beers, and I spent less than $20.
It's
that's unheard of.
It's unbelievable. It's like, yes, their politics also are frozen in 1954, but so thank God the menu prices are, because you can't find that anywhere else in America.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
That's not true.
Talk to me.
Manitou Springs, Colorado. Everything's $5. Everything. It's like Trader Joe's. You can't spend $50 unless you try real hard.
And their fossils are pretty cool, too.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I mean, I'm a big fan of dinosaurs, which leads me to my final question. I hit up the Dinosaur Resource Center in Woodland Park, Colorado. Shout out to our friends at Snowfall. They have a great B&B service and a badass house you can just rent for cheap up in Woodland Park. But they have a Dinosaurs Resource Center, so it's great to take kids and all that jazz. I went as a stoned adult because I love dinosaurs. Let me ask you, what is your stance on dinosaurs? Do you believe that they are real?
Oh, 100%.
How
could
you're
not?
Lucky. Shout out to Mitch. We know a guy that doesn't.
Well, Mitch,
he's a Georgia kid too.
Oh, it's always hard to hate on a Georgia kid. No, I'm just joking. I'm not hating.
He's a techie.
I'm
just kidding.
He's
an Ole Miss
Georgia
rebel.
Tech,
rebel.
I don't know what to do with him.
Okay, so for real though, if you were a dinosaur, which dinosaur would you be?
I think I'd have to be a long neck.
Ooh, you mean the Brontosaurus?
The Brontosaurus.
There's a couple other sauruses that are long necks. Are we talking straight vegetarian?
Even though I'm not vegetarian, I think it's the most relatable dinosaur to me. I know we're not on camera right now, but if you were to look at me right now, I am a long, lanky mofo.
You are? That he is.
Getting that top end
tree.
Crop
oh, I see what you're saying.
Is that's where I feast off of. So I'm not trying to attack another man.
Bravo.
I'm not out here trying to attack another man like a T-Rex. I'm trying to get that top end crop.
I see what you did there, and that's an answer of someone that's listened to this podcast before, because by God, as someone that works in cannabis, that's a great fucking answer. And it reminds me of our friend Brian McClintock, who is a sommelier that lives up in the woods of Oregon. If you want to check out his natural wine biodynamic program, it's called Viticole Wine, Viticole wine. High-end wines produced by high-end people. But that's the same thing. I'm not trying to harm anybody. That regrowth and rebuild kind of vibe. But 100%. Also, I only dine on the best. I only smoke on the best tree. I only drink the best vino.
True connoisseur shit.
I love it, Kriz. I love it. And I love you, and I can't tell you how much we not only appreciate your friendship, but we also love your fucking product. And I know you're not the grower, but I want to give a shout out to the Binske team at home, the Oni team at home, because y'all do have excellent products. So no matter what it may be, if you're a flower person, the pre-rolls. If you're an edible person, they've got you fucking covered in chocolate and gummies. Cartridges, you have the fucking disposables and the goodies. And then you also have the concentrates as well. So you've got something for everyone.
We really do.
But it tickles my pickle, and I just want to say thank you for keeping yourself in the stoned appetite category. We don't eat shitty food. You don't smoke shitty tree, and you wouldn't let your consumers do it either. So
absolutely not.
I see you, same, but different.
100%. Thank you for having me, Kip, and thanks for not laughing at my scorecards when we play golf.
Dude, I'm just as bad at golf. It's so fucking preposterous. But again, I wish everybody at home a happy holidays. I want to wish you, Mikey, a happy holidays. But at the same time, I'm fucking tired. Let's go home. Let's go smoke some weed.
Let's do it.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers, guys.
Happy
holidays.